Open Your Eyes is brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Isani Clayton.
And good morning, Belize. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Monday morning. Good morning, Isani.
Good morning, April.
You know, I saw you a month ago. We are now in June.
We are in June. It's the third day of June.
It is the third day in June.
And so, whenever you get to this time of year, the high schoolers are graduating.
They are.
They're going to prom.
Yes.
The UB students may not necessarily be graduating. I heard it's all the way to October.
Yes, yes.
But they are already out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only the primary schools and some of the high schools that are going to be carrying on through the rest of the month.
Yeah, I realized I was talking to one of our crew members just this morning, and I was saying I didn't even realize that it was prom and graduation season,
Yeah.
You know, maybe because it's not around me right now, but people have been doing it big,
Yes.
doing the most
I have a friend of
for
mine
this season.
who came in from the United States for his daughter's prom
Wow.
on Friday, right? And so in chit-chatting, he's telling me about all the investments he has made in dress and
Grand entrance
and all of these things.
Yes, I've been seeing
And
it.
it's being forecasted that in the next 3 years I'll be doing the same thing.
You know, I wish you luck, my friend. I've been seeing it. I was also stating that it has grown from when I was in high school. You know, we had a prom, but it wasn't like the way I'm looking at these entrances now. I believe this Friday that just passed, it was ecumenical high school's prom. And you know what they say, ecumenical, they're the one who do it the largest. They are the capital right now when it comes to prom, because they block off like the highway. They block off everything.
You know, for many years, the prom culture in Belize, you know, kind of took a serious grip on our society. to where, you know, people were coming in by helicopter, people were doing all of these things, and then the schools perhaps just decided, you know what, this is way too over the top, let's just keep it simple.
But what I love, and we're seeing, I think this is EP York's prom, but what I'm loving, it's very much not just become, oh, this beautiful girl in a dress and everything like that, because normally that's what it is, right? You cater toward the girls in pretty dresses, but these guys are showing up just stunned out, decked out with some of their outfits, and I said, okay, so it's not just the girls taking it seriously, but the guys are definitely taking it seriously as well. I did attend my prom, but I did not have an extravagant entrance. Mike Martinez dropped me off and picked me up. We were not doing these grand entrances like that. Did you attend the prom?
Nah, I did not attend my prom because I'm not that kind of guy, right? But the following year, I was in a relationship and I had to attend
her prom,
my ex-girlfriend's prom, and it was quite an interesting thing, right? I never set out to become prom king that year, but yeah, it happened.
You become prom king? The prom would have never year prom? Of course.
It's like a king and queen thing, or queen and king thing, and yeah, it just happened, right?
But like you said, it's grown since we were in high school, and it's gotten bigger, and I'm looking at things like when in our Hispanic traditions, you have things like the quinceañera, that is this huge, extravagant rite of passage for young girls, and now we're kind of seeing that kind of investment, as you say, into these prom exhibitions, these prom grand entrances. I don't know. I like watch the glitz and the glam just because it's fun, but I don't know if I'll spend so much money
My
on
thing
a
is,
dress.
I'm invested in a family
Yes.
that is very much into these kinds of things, right? So that 3 years from now, when
So you
it's my
already
turn
know.
to see after my daughter's prom, I have to make sure that I have enough money saved between now and then.
You have 3 more. You have 3 years.
Yeah, I'll put that on a payment plan.
But that's just one of the topics that are buzzing from the course of the week, and I think they'll be buzzing for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
But in the regional side, in our neighbors, what's buzzing topics, I would say the Mexican elections were this weekend, and Mexico has made history by electing their first female president. Congratulations to Claudia Sheinbaum.
So what do we know about Claudia Sheinbaum? Well, she's 61 years old. She's the former mayor of Mexico City, and she, to some extent, could be described as an understudy of outgoing President AMLO.
Yes.
Right? They're both from the same political party. And her trajectory, her political path, is very similar to that of AMLO's in terms of the mayorship of the capital and then on to national politics thereafter. And so she's an energy scientist.
She is.
With expertise in climate change.
Yep.
Right? And so this is going to be interesting. Why? Because she is the first woman president in North America.
Yeah.
So it's Mexico, United States, Canada. So she's the first, right? And first woman president in Mexico after 200 years of Mexico being recognized as an independent state.
Yeah.
Right? So
I mean, she had I think there were 3 of them were in the running, but it was really and truly a race between herself and Xochitl Galvez. And so while we were watching the election polls and the numbers coming out, we said either way, they will have a woman president.
But her victory is considered a landslide.
I think it was like 60% or so that she won.
Yeah, it's considered a landslide over her nearest opponent, Xochitl Galvez.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, kudos to Mexico. I wish her all the best in her years of running. There were still very much a lot of incidents that were taking place
I was just
while
about to get to that part of it, where the analysts have been showing that during AMLO's term in office, there's been a rise in the number of violent crimes committed. I believe I read somewhere that it's 185,000 deaths that have been recorded during that particular period of time. And while Ms. Sheinbaum has campaigned on a certain platform where security is one of the key pillars of what she'll be seeking to strengthen, it is left to be seen what actually takes place there, because the rise of the cartel violence is still pretty much on an upsurge or on an uptick where that is concerned.
Up until yesterday, while the polls were still open, there were a series of shootings and bombings of election polls. And so
a whopping 35 candidates lost their lives as well.
Yes.
So it's quite a time to be a politician in Mexico.
It's going to be difficult, and I think all eyes are going to be on her and how she handles the situation, especially look. You know, I know we have these conversations about women in power and women empowerment, but she does have a lot to prove. This is riding on the history in the making. Her shoulders are going to be weighed on that statement alone. The first woman president in North America. That is a testament to her, right?
To localize it in a sense, when she takes office on October 1st, then our head of government and our foreign affairs, right, will have to establish a relationship with her. In much the same way that our head of government has established a relationship with President AMLO, right? And so that will be interesting to see, because we have forged quite a solid friendship with Mexico. I mean, if Mexico sneezes, we catch the flu, right?
The next day.
That's how close we are as neighbors and as political allies, if I could use it that way, right? But yes, this is interesting times.
I mean, again, I wish her all the best. I mean, she's not the first female president in Latin America. We've had other countries that have had female presidents, but for Mexico to be a superpower, really, it's quite wonderful. I hope that she has a good first term, and we'll see how our connections strengthen as well.
What's of particular interest to me when reading up the biography of President-elect Sheinbaum is the fact that she is of Jewish extraction, right? And her maternal grandmother is from Lithuania. And so when they were escaping the Nazis during the World War, they made their way to Mexico. And, you know, it's an interesting story, an interesting backstory.
She has quite the background in education. She has quite the background in politics.
Yeah.
So she's not just some person that decided to run. And I think that's what makes her special. But so are her other candidates. She has strong opponents running against her. Sachitel is more leaning on the right, more conservative.
And she's an established businesswoman who has, you know, made her bones, so to speak, in the economic circle.
Yes. So we will see. We will follow more and see what happens leading up to her actual swearing in, her inauguration in October. There were other elections that were happening this weekend as well. I believe India had their elections. You had Africa, some countries in Africa that had their elections as well. So this weekend was quite instrumental for many countries. But we'll follow those up later on. Another topic on our What's Buzzing trend and kind of bringing it back home, and I know you know more about this than I do because you follow sports.
What do I know?
But our U18 basketball team
is in
ventured into Argentina.
Yes.
They're going to be playing their first game, I think, today. Argentina is a few hours ahead of us, if I'm not mistaken, I think about 3 hours ahead of us. And so they've already started their morning. They're probably warming up as we speak. Getting ready for their first game, and they're playing three games, if I'm not mistaken.
I know that my good friend Jacob Leslie heads this delegation of young athletes, Belizean athletes, who are going to be participating in the tournament in Argentina in the coming days, right? And as we see here, this is a little video that was put together to promote the team and what have you. And so this is my thing, April. While they are away, we must still give them the support from home, right?
Of course.
It's no different than if they were at the Civic and Belizeans would show up in throngs to support the national team. In this case, we're supposed to still give them that very same fanfare and fandom, right?
Yeah.
So that when they return later on in the week, however they place, we should still give them a hero's welcome because they're representing the country on the national or the international stage.
Is this the first time a U18 team has traveled this far out?
I'm not quite sure. I won't venture to give a response to that. But suffice to say that I think this is a well put together team. I hope that they do their best and make Belize proud in terms of their performance on the court. And we're rooting for them. We
are rooting for them. These are young. This is what we were talking about when we were talking about brewing sports from a young age into the minds of these kids that want to make this a career. This is the feeling of I can do this as a career in my lifetime. This is not just a part-time thing that I do on the weekends. And it kind of builds that momentum. We would see things like the BEBL that are trying to do that, but this is also showing the young guys that, hey, I can.
But you know what I love about this time of year going into summer? It's similar to the experience that we had last year, which was the year of the Belizean athlete.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Summertime brings out all of these amazing talents in sports, right? You're looking at basketball, football, all these other disciplines where these young men and women, you know, put their all into these physical activities that are representing the country.
Yes, I agree. So we wish them the best of luck. Like I said, their first game is today. And we'll see how they place from here. And I think they have 2 more games to play before the week is out. So we wish them all the best of luck. I think we can catch the games on YouTube. And so wherever you are, if you are here at home or if you're over there championing them, give them your support. I think it's going to be a good week for our young Belizean athletes.
Yes.
It's just some of the topics that are what's on the what's buzzing scale. We have many, many more. There were so many things that happened over the course of the weekend. You had Flowers Bank Festival, you had all of these other festivals happening. But wherever you were, we hope you had a wonderful weekend. But Isani, it is Monday.
It is.
So what do we do here every Monday?
We get into our Eye on the News segment.
All right, let's get into our Eye on the News.
So, I'd like to begin our Eye on the News segment this morning by reflecting on the passing of a very good friend of mine, the late Alistair King. He passed away over the weekend, and, you know, condolences to his family and, of course, to his employees across his many businesses. So, for those who may not know who Alistair King was, he was a well-known businessman in the South. He was involved in a number of commercial activities, right? And of course, his family, you know, has been quite active in Toledo district as well. And so when I think of Alistair, I not only think about Fabregas and King's Service Station and King's Motor and all of these other ventures, but I also think about U.S. Capital and the pursuit for black gold in the Toledo district and the controversy that this created, right, in terms of where they were drilling for oil. They were conducting all of these seismic testing and what have you. And the fact that it brought into central focus the issue of the indigenous population in the South.
Yes.
And the very delicate nature of being able to do this kind of exploratory work, right? And still be able to operate within the margins of what is respectable for the indigenous population in Toledo district. So I think about, you know, how free, prior, and informed consent ties into this kind of work going into a Maya community, for instance. I think about the environmentalists and the conservationists who were kind of locked into this argument over the sensitive nature of the Sarstoon-Tamash National Park and the fact that these activities were being conducted there and all of it. And of course, the politics that was involved in all of it as well. And as I mentioned, central, but in the background, was Mr. King. You know, and I recall having numerous conversations with him and quite an intellectual guy in terms of the way how he sees things and he looks at national development and that kind of thing. So once again, my condolences to the King family and of course to his employees, his friends, and everybody who he may have
come in contact with
one way or the other in his life.
Yeah.
All right, so another interesting development that I want for us to be able to talk about this morning, and perhaps it may have flown below the radar at the tail end of last week, but the passage of the Disabilities Bill,
yes,
right? And we're thinking, okay, so what does this mean, and how different will we go about dealing with persons or treating with persons who are differently or diversely abled in public spaces and what have you? I guess against the backdrop of equality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's the broad picture, that as Belizeans we share certain fundamental human and constitutional rights, right? That makes me, as a fully abled person, no different or no better than someone who is differently abled.
Yeah.
Right now, so how do we now take this and manifest it in a space where we're looking at employment, we're looking at access to certain spaces, right? So now, in my opinion, in my mind, it's beyond just a wheelchair ramp.
Yeah.
It's now being able to treat everybody who is differently abled as you would treat someone who is fully able.
Yep.
So if you're getting on a bus, we're still waiting for the e-buses, by the way. Those come with
they're coming.
a
They're
space
coming.
for a wheelchair,
Yeah.
right? We're still waiting on that, but I'm simply saying in the broad picture, when you look at it from a universal perspective, so to speak, the introduction of this piece of legislation, and I'm hoping that it goes all the way through to ratification. So this law, or this piece of law, should be able to change the landscape, in a manner of speaking, so that it levels the playing field for everybody.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how long and how they're going to be monitoring it after it's passed, because apparently, according to Honorable Rhonda Ramos Garcia, it's been about 11 to 13 years that they've been trying to pass this bill in the House. And I think about not just the way they're going to level the playing field, but how Belizeans are going to act, because at the end of the day, it is changes in behavior, changes in the way we treat persons with diverse abilities. And we are not there yet. We have not had the, I guess, maybe the education to understand how to be compassionate and empathetic to persons. And I'm not saying, oh, treat them special, or because they want to be able to be treated like everybody else, but at the same time understand that if there's somebody that is coming off of a wheelchair getting onto a bus, they need time, especially if there is no access, easy access at the moment, right? They need time. Be patient. Wait your turn. The bus is not going to leave without you. You know, all of these different small spaces that I think we take for granted when we see a person with disabilities. We tend to feel that we have to make these drastic changes to accommodate them, but at the end of the day, you would want those accommodations yourself if you were in that situation, right?
I'm also looking at it from an educational / academic point of view, where the same opportunities should be afforded to someone to be able to pursue higher learning, despite the fact that they may not be fully able, right? If I could use that description. So yes, I'm thinking, okay, now you have students who may be coming out of Stella Maris, right? Who may be interested in pursuing the STEAM curriculum, right? So now, perhaps they should be able to apply to ITSAT and, you know, have a full path cleared for them to be able to participate in these academic courses and what have you. And it's just one point of view. I mean, we could go in various different directions in respect of what this perhaps means.
But even in a creativity space, or in any office space, things like ensuring that you have your signs in Braille, you are able to ensure that your deaf are fully equipped. I remember watching this TikTok video. I'm not segueing. It's a museum in France that is fully capable of persons that are blind. So everything is catered to their sense of hearing and touch. So even though they can't see the sculpture was made in a way where the person can touch it and then get that sensor, the vibrations and that senses. So imagine it.
Experience.
Imagine it in their head what that would look like. And I just thought that was such a cool way of incorporating somebody with this inability to experience something so creative, because they would never be able to see it. And it's these types of spaces where, well, with a bill like this, you are able to kind of innovate. You don't see it as a setback, you see it as a new way to change the way that your usual setup is looking in any space.
All right, so I'll move on to another topic, because we could talk about, you know, the pros and cons of all of what's taking place there. The government of Belize has set aside $1 million for the fire relief. I'll call it fire relief based on the coverage that we've given to the wildfires that are affecting parts of the south and western Belize, right? But my question is whether the $1 million that has been earmarked stands in line with the $8 million in damages that have been recorded thus far, right? And I'm not knocking the effort, don't get me wrong. I'm simply looking at $1 million for the relief in terms of persons who may have been affected by their livelihoods or their homes and properties, against the fact that it's $8 million worth of damage that has been recorded so far in the Cayo district and in Toledo district, right? When you look at the amount of land mass that has been devastated by fire.
I was thinking about it, and I'm wondering, because these fires are mostly in reserved areas. In terms of property damages and so forth, I think we're still calculating houses lost, if businesses were affected in that kind of way. I know we're still calculating that damage there, but one of the things I was thinking about is trees grow back. You know, I know, I'm trying to think of the pros of it, and I'm thinking of this as a cyclical.
Fires have been an integral part of agriculture for as long as man has been farming.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
But it's an ancient practice.
It is an ancient practice.
And to be responsible, it is a very risky practice.
Yes.
Which is why
certain people are supposed to have permits for burning.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And which is also why APAMO issued a release. I believe it would have been on Friday, if not on Thursday, it would have been on Friday, where they're saying, look, persons who are practicing slash and burn farming, you need to be able to move on from that technique and employ something that is more sustainable and more environmentally friendly, if that were the case.
Yeah.
Because in these dry, arid months, when a fire gets away from you, it creates some of the kind of destruction that we're seeing in the south.
I agree, and I also wonder with this $1 million, and I'm sure there are going to be other conversations surrounding this later on, but because this is an annual issue, this is and it's getting worse as we have been reporting. What are some of the long-term sustainable projects that can assist? Because even though, yes, this is something seasonal, yes, this is something we have to deal with, it's gradually getting worse, climate change is upon us, we have to think about a long-term solution. And while we're saying quit slash and burn and move to something more sustainable, something more climate friendly, we still can't avoid the fact that it will happen on a yearly basis.
So, we have perhaps agriculture as part of our tuition when you look at the education system.
Yeah.
So maybe reforesting some of these areas that have been devastated by fire is one way to go. Large-scale replanting campaign where students can go into some of these areas and just put down trees that would be native to those particular areas, or I don't know how the ecological aspect of it works. That's for the experts, but I'm simply saying if they want to be able to replant out some of these areas, then perhaps a campaign of that sort would work.
But also, how do we source water during the dry season? How are we able to keep certain things green, quote unquote, when there is no rain, right? How are we supposed to be able to ensure that we store water safely so that when this time of the year comes, we still have access to potable water, so if in case there's a fire, we're able to source it quickly and safely, because fire trucks don't go in these places. We have to be, we've been seeing the community come together to put out these fires. And even so, water is just one of the sources that you can use. There's so many other sustainable ways to out a fire if you know how to use, or create trenches. You know, there's so many so many different ways that you can avoid and sustain when there's a fire happening, and have that before it starts, right?
Yeah. All right. So again, I want to be able to acknowledge the effort of the various agencies that have, you know, pooled their resources, either human resources or otherwise, to tackle these fires. And of course, the government for being able to step up and you know, set aside monies to be able to approach the relief aspect of it all. Right, so I'll end our Iron News there this morning. Certainly details of these stories and more you will be able to catch at 6 p.m. in our evening newscast, live on 5, where you can stream our content on Facebook or YouTube. That does it for the Iron News.
Moving on into our motivational quotation for the day, we of course have our eye opener taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. Knowing where you came from helps bridge the gulf that divides your past from your future. Each of us is a piece of a larger puzzle. We are all born into the unique and complex network of individuals, settings, and circumstances that constitute our heritage. Whether or not you are aware of your ancestors, your family's country of origin, the cultural history of your people, or the trials faced by the people responsible for bringing you into the world, these forces have had a hand in shaping your values. Knowing your family history and reflecting often upon your own personal history as it relates to your heritage empowers you to look at your life in a larger historical context and to understand that you are a vital part of an ongoing drama greater than yourself. The knowledge you gain can help you appreciate your values and your character, giving you the confidence to be more expressive where both are concerned. Balance is key. While your heritage has influenced the development of the person you are today, you are more than an ethnicity, a culture, or a family name. You should not feel driven to alter your likes and dislikes, dreams, preferences, or values because you feel your heritage demands it. Knowing your history is about loving who you are, understanding where you come from, and preparing for your future.
Well, I know exactly where I come from,
Same.
who I am, and where I'm going, right?
Yes.
Thanks to my parents who instilled the history of the Cayetano and the Nunes Martinez heritage and the fact that I am a proud Garifuna man and my ancestry comes from down south, and I'm heading in a path where, you know, my kids and my family understand this as well.
Yeah.
Right? And it's an interesting eye-opener because we've always been told, if not taught, that if you don't know where you come from, you may not necessarily know where you're going.
Yeah.
Right? And so these values are important because it keeps us grounded, right? It's the same way that I tell people, I come from a certain neighborhood in Belize City, right? That for others, it is shunned. But that neighborhood in Belize City has raised many a rose out of concrete, right?
Yeah.
And those of us who are from there, we know exactly what it means, where we come from, and where we're going.
Yeah, it's important to know. I mean, I do agree with certain parts of the eye opener that say you shouldn't feel driven to alter your likes and your dislikes because of your heritage. But
Yeah.
I don't think that that's what it necessarily means to be in tune with your ancestry. I've always struggled with identity because people will want to tell you who you are. And when you're trying to
Yeah.
express yourself, they'll say, oh, but you can't, right?
Or you shouldn't.
Or you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest gifts that I think both my parents, but my father really gave me was the knowledge of our heritage and our history.
Yeah.
It made me know that, listen, you might look a certain way, but you have this inside you. And if
Yeah.
you embody that and embrace that, nobody can tell you who you are. And that is why I'm such a huge advocate
Yeah.
for understanding and embracing and safeguarding cultural heritage, because I do agree that if you understand your heritage, your history, it drives your ambition in a type of way. I think about my mom's family and my grandparents and how much they've had to sacrifice and struggle for us to be here.
Yeah.
And I always say, man, my grandpa never gone through all of that just for me to fail in life, right? It doesn't necessarily mean I have to be the president, but you have to be an upstanding citizen in society.
You have to have ambition
You
and
do.
drive. Right?
And I think that that's where this eye-opener solidifies that for me. So I hope wherever you are, you can talk a little bit about your heritage. Talk to your grandparents, talk to your parents, and get to find out who you are and who they were. I don't know. I think that's a great conversation to have.
There we go.
But moving into our show lineup for this morning, Isan, it is Monday, so we have a lot to discuss this morning. Our first conversation, it will be joined by the Minister of Sports and the launch of their new application.
Our second conversation is with our friends from the FFB. They'll be here to talk about the FIFA World Cup qualifiers in a match against Nicaragua. But before we go to our break, we're forgetting the weather.
We are forgetting the weather. We were talking about fires and heat, and we are in the month of June, Isani, and so it is hurricane season. You're absolutely right. And so we do have that weather update from the folks from the Meteorological Service of Belize.
Good morning, Belize. Fair, warm, and mostly dry weather conditions prevail. The 24-hour forecast: skies will be mostly sunny today and clear to partly cloudy tonight. Little or no rain is expected. The maximum temperatures for today will reach 90 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 100 inland, and 84 up in the hills. A heat alert is likely to go into effect this afternoon. The low temperatures for tonight will be around 83 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 75 inland, and 68 up in the hills. The winds from the open sea will be from the east at 10 to 15 knots, and the sea conditions will be light chop. A high tide will occur this morning at 6:54, a low tide this afternoon at 2:13, another high tide tonight at 8:31, and another low tide early tomorrow morning at 1:26. The sun rose this morning at 5:17 and will set this evening at 6:24. The moon will set this evening at 3:47 and will rise early tomorrow morning at 3:27. In the fire risk forecast for today, the risk for forest or bushfires will remain high across the country. The outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night is for similar weather conditions. For more details on our forecast, please visit our website at nms.gov.bz. In the tropical weather outlook for the North Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. With that, we end this morning's forecast from the Belize National Met Service.
All right, it's gonna be hot again. Here's another heat alert again. Please drink your water.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. But we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to the Minister of Youth, Sports and Transport and their new application. Don't go away.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Littleville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Charbroil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, Benny's. Benny's, Benny's.
2,251,000 slices of watermelon are eaten by tourists each year in Belize, benefiting local farmers and processors directly. Tourism means business.
MacNav Visual Strategies, where creativity meets business. Step inside our world of innovative visual solutions. From captivating graphic design to expansive wide format productions, our services are tailored to bring your vision to life. Experience the impact of our high-quality signage and billboards, embroidery, promotional items, and professional paper printing, all designed to elevate your brand's presence. Every project reflects our commitment to creativity, quality, and client satisfaction. At McNabb Visual Strategies, we transform ideas into visual realities. Get in touch today.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Ladyville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Char-Broil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, Benny's. Benny's, Benny's.
2,251,000 slices of watermelon are eaten by tourists each year in Belize, benefiting local farmers and processors directly. Tourism means business.
McNabb Visual Strategies, where creativity meets business. Step inside our world of innovative visual solutions. From captivating graphic design to expansive wide format productions, our services are tailored to bring your vision to life. Experience the impact of our high-quality signage and billboards, embroidery, promotional items, and professional paper printing, all designed to elevate your brand's presence. Every project reflects our commitment to creativity, quality, and client satisfaction. At McNabb Visual Strategies, we transform ideas into visual realities. Get in touch today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
For our first conversation this morning, we have been joined by the Minister of Youth, Sports and Transport, none other than Rodwell Ferguson.
Good morning.
Mr. Ferguson. And he is joined by my good friend Tyler Tillett, who is here in a different capacity. You're here as a volunteer to discuss the app that will be launched in the coming days as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Before we get into talking about the app, let's first talk about the state of sports in Belize, in the various disciplines, and perhaps how the government is facilitating the development of sports in this country.
Well, if I may,
Sure.
I traveled to Venezuela last year for Consacada Games. Then I also traveled to Grenada this year for Carifta Games. That by itself was an experience for me, and see how the other countries support sports at that level. I was surprised to see Nicaragua took an entire plane load of athletes to Venezuela last year. And then Jamaica and Trinidad dominate Carifta Games. Because I think as a country, they invest in their young people. And when we say invest, people always believe that it is the government of Belize should invest. It's the entire country invest. And after I came back from those 2 games, I said, you know what, we have to find a solution, an alternative to support our athletes as they travel across the world and across the globe. Because when they go and they come back with gold, then we make a big hooray and welcome them back. But nobody knows how they got to that point. And so I decided to come up with an idea. I said, you know what, we can create an app to be able to raise money to support our young people as they travel. It's a difficult task because Belizeans are reluctant, especially maybe because the image of the National Sports Council maybe many years ago. So why will I contribute to something that will not see any fruition? So I asked the National Sports Council that we are going to create an app, to create a new account that we want to contribute to the app. We must provide a statement of revenue and expenses on a monthly basis to the Belizean people. And so we not only want to attract those at home, we also want to attract those in the diaspora. So they are going to have a diaspora summit, I think, around the 7th of June in California. And we want to send a team to that summit to introduce the app. So right away when I came up with the idea, I called a young man from Orange Rock by the name of Azel Koo, I think you are familiar with Azel, who create these apps. And Azel told me, he said, Mr. Ferguson, yes, I can create the app and work with you. And I want to see the app reach a final stage where you can just click and your contribution goes into the system. We were waiting on the bank account for about 2 months, so we got the bank account about 2 weeks ago. So we're prepared to launch up. And so if you say you want to contribute your dollar, we're asking Belizeans for a minimum of $1 a month. So if you sell but you want to give your $1 a month, so we expect $12 for Isani or April and the end of December. We're going to ask the school children, we're going to break it down and say, look, you can contribute shilling a week. Instead of your money that you get for your purchase at school, give only a shilling a week. And I had to come up with the idea. I said, well, if we want to launch it, we have to have a jingles to support the app. So you're going to get into your mind and say, I will contribute to this app every single month. And so I asked Sports Council to find a suitable musician to come up with an app. And right now, I think the most popular musician is Hube. So I said, you know what, ask him to create the app. I mean, the jingles. So today, I think you have the jingles. The jingle will also be played to say this is what we're going to do for sports in the country of Belize.
So with this application launch, and I think it's like almost like a GoFundMe kind of, yes. How will the funds be distributed? How would you know where? So if you, let's say, every Belizean downloads this app, you're looking at almost $400,000, right?
Notwithstanding those in the diaspora.
Notwithstanding those in the diaspora. So let's cap it at $500,000, right? Looking at $500,000 as somebody that's pledging their dollar. how are these funds going to be distributed equally? And I say equally because you have certain sports that think, oh, you give more to basketball, you give more to football, you got volleyball, you know, all of these different sports that we have in Belize. How would you distribute these funds equally?
All right, we have several federations in the country. And initially, the organizer was saying then we are going to deal with maybe juvenile sports for right now. But I told them this app, in my estimation, is going to be working tremendously. And so we want to reach out to every federation across the country and support their initiative. So we are hoping that if this app works, we are going to say then all facilities going to be free for it to go and work out. There will be no added cost for electricity bill, for any use of any facilities across the country, because the app should take care of all these expenses. And as I'm saying then that on a monthly basis, we are going to show the entire nation how much we make, how much we spend, but what I want to establish from day one, that no individual team can come and request finances for the app to contribute to them. They must go through the federation to make sure they are legit. Because many times there are fake people who have come and say, I have a team in Kawazar and PG, and I want a contribution toward a team. Everything must go through their federations.
Let's get Tylon in on the conversation with respect of the app and the role that you play.
I'm volunteering for the launch of this app. In relation to what Mr. Ferguson says, Mr. Koo, who designed the app, designed it with certain parameters, and so there are the possibility of adding a specific campaign per month or for a 2-week period is also available on the app. So let me use a basic example. Let's say we're trying to send a particular team to a particular games in a few weeks. An ad campaign can be introduced to the app subscribers to say that, hey, between the 15th of June till the end of June, we're trying to reach this target goal to send this particular person or this particular team to these games. Can you contribute to this specific cause? So what we're trying to do, and it's a creative idea that Mr. Ferguson has come up with, is combining technology and ease of access with the social minded to give to their country. And we know that most Belizeans are generous, and creating this engine to harness that generosity and putting your money to a specific cause is what we're particularly proud of. And we have, somebody always saying nobody has the hard numbers, right? But it is always said that there's more Belizeans living in the States than living in our country. And so this gives that person in the diaspora the ability to donate to something immediately. And we want every Belizean to feel ownership of the things that we have in this country. Sports gives the ability to create somebody's dream. Not everybody comes here to be Dr. Laya and all these other professionals. There are people here with the potential, and we always know it. We always hear about people that can run fast naturally, that don't get the training, or this person that could have been this, but they didn't go that far. So by donating your dollar, you're supporting someone's dream, someone's idea of getting further in life. And one of these days you might be sitting on your couch and actually see where your dollar has gone because you're cheerleading somebody that is in the Olympics for Belize. And that's what we're looking for, to create that sense of ownership.
I like the fact that transparency and accountability are both high in terms of what you're seeking to do with the monies that are gathered from this particular app. Explain to us, Minister, why this aspect was of such importance in terms of the openness for people to understand how the money is gathered and where the money goes.
Well, I like to be very transparent. And when I was appointed the Minister of Sports, and I recognized that when I have the resources to get certain things done, I had to put on my thinking cap. And my thinking cap brought me to this app and said, well, let's launch this app. And we have a National Sports Council. So we are saying that we now reinvent the wheel. The members of the National Sports Council, their signatures will be the same signatures to make sure that we can distribute the funds from the app. But everybody who apply for assistance you have to be very open and transparent. So I'm very cognizant, and I'm happy that we are now launching this up. For example, we have a team that went to Costa Rica 2 weeks ago, athletics, and they came back with about 6 medals. And the onus was on me as the minister to find the majority of the funds for them to go to Costa Rica. And I had to go there and put on my thing and kept to figure out how we can raise this money for them to go. We were successful. They went and they came back, and Belizeans felt very proud of them. Now we have the under-20 basketball team in Argentina. And when Mr. Lester called me, said, Mr. Ferguson, remember last year, you commit that you are going to help us raise the money to send a basketball team to Argentina. First of all, I want to give kudos to the government of Belize for recognizing the importance of sports in this country, and the government contributed significantly. I also want to thank BWS for their contribution, because last year when we had Qualifiers in Belize, we had the under-18 basketball, we have volleyball. It was a humongous amount of responsibility on my shoulder. And I had to ask the Prime Minister to intervene, to let us speak with BTL, BEL, and BWS. But I want to give the chairman of BWS a plan by putting a budget now in BWS budget to assist with sports. So I could have easily went to him and said, Chairman, we have the under-20 basketball team going to Argentina. How can you make a contribution to the cause? And so they were able to go to Argentina, and they are there now. We are hopeful that they can bring back some gold or silver or bronze. Whatever they bring back, we are going to appreciate. But at least Belize have representation in such a high league of basketball.
Indeed, indeed. I think that we've seen time and time again where our Belizean athletes, they go out, they represent, they bring back so many medals. They bring back, not just, it doesn't even have to be that they brought back medals, but just the fact that they went out and represented our country is a huge win for us as Belize. Do we have conversations within the government and within your department and ministry of things like sports tourism, something to bring and cater people to come to Belize to watch our Belizeans play here as well?
Well, myself and the Minister of Tourism are having a conversation to figure out how we can collaborate sports with tourism. But first of all, the facilities in Belize need to be improved. If you can recall, GOB approved $2 billion to assist in the renovation of facilities in the country. I want to touch at least something in every district that they could say, you know what, my facility has been upgraded, has been improved. For example, I was in Corozal about a month and a half ago. We are now renovating the Civic Center in Corozal. That is through the remainder of the funds that was left after last year in BWS budget. So I'm quite cognizant that at least by the end of next month, we can safely say the Civic Center in Corozal has been upgraded. And we are going to put a plan how we are going to upgrade many facilities across the country with the $2 million that government has provided for sports.
I want to, at this point, welcome Marvin Utley as the Deputy Director of the National Sports Council to this conversation. Good morning, Mr. Utley.
Good morning. Glad to have you to be on the show this morning.
So since we're talking about upgrading facilities and what have you, forgive me if I go to a difficult topic right away, right? The Marian Jones Sporting Complex remains in a state of disrepair. I think we've shown stories of the track and other areas of the facility that need some serious work. And I know the Marian Jones is also the seat of the Sports Council. Let's talk about that, Mr. Utley, in terms of perhaps what can be done at this point between the NSC and government to be able to improve that facility.
Well, Minister, in his wisdom, in regards to the $2 million, Belize City is getting the lion's share of the $2 million for facility improvement. And so MCC, Marian Jones, and and Mexico Center that get damaged from the hurricane, from Hurricane Lisa, is the priority areas for us. Marion Jones, in regards to the field itself, we are still gathering some studies to ensure what will be the best remedy for the pitch. If I could recall, the pitch was built somewhere back in 1993 or 94, and underneath it is a whole bed of rocks.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, our best solution is to raise it higher so that the heat, when we get into the summertime, because even though we have sprinklers there, the heat from the rocks during the summertime just eat up all the grass. So that is one area of improvement we believe we can do at Marion Jones. In regards to completing the facility, because remember we inherit this facility, the fifth floor haven't been completed at all. And the fifth floor is where the press box and the VIP seats are. In that same investment, we are trying to see how we could improve those two areas and have the facility fully outfitted for sporting event and whatever have you. So that Marion Jones is a priority area in MCC and Mexico Center.
I also think of the idea that the government has set aside money for the improvement of these facilities, but I think back to 2 weeks ago with what happened at the Norman Braster, where, you know, fans of these respective teams come out and they completely vandalize and tear up the place.
Yeah.
So it stands as a stark contrast or irony that, you know, monies are being invested in the improvement of these facilities, but we as a people, we don't have that social consciousness perhaps to be able to respect the fact that, you know what, these facilities are here for public use, but we must be able to keep it up as well without tearing them down and what have you.
The NSC mandate is to improve sports at all levels within the country, starting from primary school. Sports in schools creates discipline. They always say that coachable kids becomes good employees. So encouraging sports at that lower level gives us a chance to also instill values.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been a little break in that, and that's where we see this level of vandalism happening and so on. But the more the NSC and sports is improved in Belize, we create these athletes that has a social conscience and understand that this is not a place I am playing at, this is my space. And so in regards to the maintenance of facilities, the NSC has a plan to talk to good corporate citizens, successful businesses in the community. All these businesses have a desire to advertise. And so in the coming months, there's going to be a situation where these places will be invited, and it's already happening, to come in, do your advertisement, and contribute to the facility nearest to you. You're a business person, you're a business entity. You can be a good corporate citizen by contributing to the upkeep of the facility in your district.
I also think of the MCC grounds, right? And the fact that that particular facility, which is a landmark in Belize City, is the worst for wear. I mean, when Hurricane Lisa came 2 or 3 years ago, however many years, it completely tore down the fence that is near Kaya Almar. And it remains open to this day. I don't know what has been part of the fiscal process, Minister, for monies to be set aside to get that repaired.
Well, that's why Marvin told you earlier that the bulk of the money is going to be spent in Belize City, particularly MCC and Marion Jones.
Yeah.
I was at MCC about 3 weeks to a month ago at the end of the football commission. There was carried over by Minister Karim. And I was confronted by the players. I said, Mr. Ferguson, we appreciate that you come, but look at the facility. And I committed to them that we are going to find a solution to that. Our initial discussion about MCC, we were talking about taking away the outer fence and create a parking, especially since I got my area and start a fee to support MCC. Because our population is now it's still under 400,000. And when we have sporting facilities, I mean for sporting events, maybe less than 5,000 people attend. So just by that, we not generate enough income to sustain and maintain these facilities. We are hoping that we can change the narrative. Once we can change and get people involved back in sports, I believe we can be self-sustainable in sports. We have to build an image first.
Yeah, we're talking about using this app as a marketing tool for younger people to come and watch the game and have, right. And so there are certain sports events that happen almost every weekend, not just in the city, but in the rural communities and so forth as well. Are there any conversations about involving them in this sort of process?
No, everybody will be involved. And our objective is to change the whole narrative and Belizeans recognize that, you know what, sports by itself could be an industry. And once you create an industry, then at least we'll start to get a certain percentage or some kind of payment to say, you know what, I am playing this sport, so I'm going to get something for my commitment to this sport. So it's going to be a long period, but we need to make a start. And now is the beginning at the start. As you mentioned about the diaspora, we don't know how many Belizeans are there. But when I went there about 2 years ago for a summit, I introduced it then verbally. And they said, man, we are now waiting for that to launch. So right now I might get a WhatsApp every day or every other day from organizations in the US and some Mr. Ferguson, when are we going to launch an app that we can contribute? For example, we have many companies in Belize. They might be very successful, but if we create a letter and ask them that you can cascade and say, we are going to start from $25 a month, maybe to $5,000 a month. You decide how much you want to contribute. And once we give you a monthly report, then you want to continue to contribute. We have to start somewhere.
I'm glad that you're talking about collaborating with these different business entities, because I think sometimes as citizens we look to the government for everything. Right? And when it comes to these different sporting events, they're mostly managed and handled by corporations and organizations such as the National Sports Council, FIFA, FFB, you know, all of these different entities. And so it's good to hear that there is a collaboration with the government, but not all of it falls solely on the government. What other projects can we expect in the year to come?
Well, I say we're talking about the renovation of the facilities. We want to improve primary school sports. Because what I envisioned since I came into the ministry is that the primary school sport is played maybe over 1 or 2 weekends. So I can't really see the talent at that level. And when they reach high school and tertiary, it's basically forgotten. And to decide you want to play football or basketball on a certain team. So we want to be able to carry it from primary to tertiary. Again, there is no academy for sports in Belize. So again, we have to figure out how we can find a solution and find a way to make sure that at an early age, the children can go to a sports academy and be able to understand the sports or discipline that they want to participate in. So it will be a tedious task, but I believe we can accomplish it.
I want to discuss or go back to the conversation regarding the National Sports Council and the change in leadership over the past year or so with a new director. I know that there has been criticism in other corners with respect of what has been taking place at the NSC and of course sports development on a whole. How do you respond to that, Minister? And perhaps we could also get Mr. Utley to weigh in on as well.
All right.
Certainly our mandate is to make sure that we can improve primary school sports first. That's our main mandate. At present, we are at our last discipline in primary school, and we have seen just over 3,000 to 4,000 male and female primary schoolers participating in all 5 disciplines that we do. That's below what we expect. We hope that by next year we could increase that to 5,000 because the primary school sports tournament now is an extension of the Kodikadere Games.
Yeah.
And next year, Kodikadere use the primary school age for its cycle. On top of that, our next thing is the services to our federation. And we have about Father 1 or Father 2 federation registered with us. And all the time they come to NSC for assistance, even if it's use of the space or even opportunities to travel and that kind of stuff. So those two priority areas have been major for us. But what Minister have done when he got in as Minister is to ask us to continue to support community sports. So all the village tournaments and sometimes the rural tournaments, we are trying our best to see how we could get a hand into it. NSC have coordinators all across the country in every district. And so we are trying our best to see how we could have a better print on the community sports. In regards to the sporting facilities, when we got in, we got in inheriting 7 new facilities. Basically, 2 in PG, 2 in Dangriga, 2 in Kayo, and Civic Center in Belize, but that is not under our management. But we still have to service those facilities with the same budget. And so we are doing the best we can with what we have to ensure that we could still keep the facilities upgraded and also allow for teams and associations to use it as at minimal cost as possible. Minister just explained that the app does provide for direct support to national teams and to federation. So that will be one of the major projects we look at in regards to the fundraiser.
Let's get your take.
Before I get to your real question, so we are hoping to launch the app on Wednesday, a soft launch. So I hope that you will contribute to $1 right away on Wednesday. So we can start deciding on April make their contribution.
We got you.
Yeah. In terms of the management of the National Sports Council, first of all, I want the nation to know that there is no money that can be misappropriated in the National Sports Council because it's very limited. We get a budget of $3.2 million for the year. That is basically to pay salaries and recurrent expenditure. So there is no room for any misappropriation of funds because it is very tight. It is very, very limited. But there was a change of the director, I think, in last year around this time.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ian Carl decided that he's not going to renew his contract. And I had to look around to find the most appropriate person who I believe will advance and enhance the National Sports Council. And while Ms. Iris Centeno is from my constituency, I was following her movements over the years to see her performance when it comes to sports. And in April, again, she's a female, and I said I want to give a female an opportunity to see her performance. I believe since she came on, we have seen some tremendous strides at the National Sports Council, but because of limitations of funding, then we have to draw back in certain instances. But if the app comes on board, then we will see a National Sports Council in its full performance benefit the Belizean people.
I think one of the criticisms being levied against the existing director is the fact that the qualifications, I believe, were being called to question in terms of how she became eligible for that post.
All right, you have to respect people for who they are and what they do. Ms. Iris Centeno has an associate degree at that level. When she graduated from high school, she was a valedictorian. She just came back from Spain just before her appointment to do a training in something related to sports management. And so I look at her and I say, you know what, you might be the most appropriate person at this particular time to fill that position. And I want the press to realize that she has an associate degree. She was the valedictorian when she graduated from high school, so she has the capacity to advance National Sports Council.
As we wrap up our segment this morning, Minister, I know that there are so many other different topics that we can talk about in your other departments, but we're focusing on sports. Can you tell us if there's going to be a press launch for this app on Wednesday? Give us some details as to, yes, okay, Mr. Tyra.
The NSC is going to be in the media this entire week. Different morning shows. We're starting off with you guys. On Wednesday, there is going to be a soft launch of the app with the NSC staff. A media invite is going to go out today, and on next week, Wednesday, which is going to be the 12th, there's going to be a full launch on a media host. All morning for about 4 hours. We'll be having an agenda. We'll be inviting businesses that will be donating to the app. But this week, it's morning shows. It's a soft launch on Wednesday. It's going to be a soft launch / press mixer to get everybody to see how the app looks, what are the parameters, how do you navigate the app. And like I said, the minister will be on every morning show this week, possibly. And we're letting the public know that we are here. There will be updates on the National Sports Council's Facebook page. A video is being produced, so a jingle is currently out and playing about the app so that Belizeans get used to the idea. And like we said, it's these social partnerships between government and the community that causes success for these ideas. And so we're pushing it, and we see how far it goes and where it goes, and hopefully everyone can be engaged. The local Belizean from $1 go up, and even the diaspora that we believe is a robust group that we can harness through this type of application. So this week we'll be making a lot of noise, and everybody should be seeing us.
I know that we wrapped up, and I know that should have been my final question. But and this is something I don't think that we've discussed as yet, but how, and if you can, because I know you don't have the launch on Wednesday, how do I put my dollar? Because is that something that I'm gonna be doing with, like, collaborating with different banks? Can I send my dollar from my bank account to the app? Like, how is it supposed to actually work?
The technicalities of it, like I said, is going to be shown on Wednesday, but it's like any other application that will be, I believe, in your Play Store. You download it. We have a QR code that you can scan that will take you directly to the app. And it's technology. You click a button and it goes, it gives you the electronic receipt, I believe. I don't know if it's a Otley. Maybe I can explain it a little more, but it's simply ease of access and ease of use, and it's gone.
Okay.
Well, when you go to the donate page, it then take it to your account, and then they transfer the money to our Belize bank account, and then the process gets completed. I have had a lot of questions to ask because I am not of this technology age, so a lot of the features have been towards, I guess, all Belizeans who would want to navigate that the app.
So we'll look forward to the soft launch on Wednesday.
At the soft launch on Wednesday, the developer of the app, Mr. Aziel Ku, will be there to demonstrate. And like, I'm not as old as Mr. Otley, right? So I have some idea, but I'm still a little old. So,
well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The Belize Sports app. Where's the where Dalagwayne? Where Dalagwayne to sports.
Don't have a jingle to play?
I think, yes, I believe we do have the jingle.
So we could play it after, and then we can.
Our thing says play, contribute, win. You understand me? So everybody has a chance to do something. Like I said, hopefully one day you'll be sitting on a couch and you realize where your dollar went when you're seeing one of our Belizean athletes in the international arena.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, our friends from the FFB are here to tell us about the up-and-coming game with Belize versus Nicaragua. Oops. Don't go away. We'll be right back. It's all sports.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speed flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Welcome back. Joining us for our last conversation, we have our friends from the FFB to give us a little bit of a scoop on the Belize versus Nicaragua game this weekend. Joining us on set, we have Ms. Yasmin Juan, who is the Communications and Marketing Director for the FFB, and of course Marlon Quillen, who is who's an executive member of the FFB. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So we've been talking sports all morning. It seems that was the trend for today, and we just had the Minister of Sports come in, and he was talking about filling up these stadiums, right? Filling up the different spaces for sports. How has the FFB been able to attract people to come to the various games?
Okay, so first of all, the football still remains the number one sport in Belize.
Yeah.
So it's in the hearts of all Belizeans. So it's not really a hard task trying to get people out. Yeah. But you know, we're still ensuring that everybody from north to south, east to west knows about this upcoming game on Saturday. So this Saturday we have a really big game at the Football Federation of Belize because it's a World Cup qualifier. So we're on that road again, the road to the World Cup. And we're playing against Nicaragua. So that's a really big game. We are really excited. The team has been in camp. The training has been going on. Training has been intense for the guys. But we're excited because it's going to be a really good game and a lot is on the line. So we know that the team is going to go out and give their very best.
I look at the roster for the players this time around, and perhaps with the exception of Woodrow West, who is one of the well-known players, I see that there are a lot of new names being added to this particular roster. Let's talk about this particular team and, of course, the preparation that has been ongoing for them to face Nicaragua.
Yes, what the coaching staff has done is they've been trying to incorporate more of the youths into the national team. Of course, it's not a given that they make it. When you look at the coaching staff, looks at the players and their capacity, they bring them to camp, and then they have to earn their position. But at this moment, the mixture is 1/3 veterans and 2/3 youths, with 7 of the players coming from abroad.
Okay.
So just to add with what Mr. Quillen was saying, something and an approach that the Football Federation is now taking is that we started our student athlete scholarship program where the Football Federation of Belize is investing to find scholarship opportunities for students abroad. So the reason why we're doing this, it's actually twofold. The Football Federation of Belize is invested in the holistic development of the individual, which means that we want to ensure that they have an educational background, but we also want them to go out and get that professional athletic development and training. So they go out, they get a scholarship, they're training every single day, they're probably on a very strict meal plan, they go to the gym, they're training with a team. So a lot of these students who are out there traveling are now back with the national team. So we're seeing the results of our investments that we made. So
that was going to be my next question, because you said it's a tedious selection of who joins the team. So how do you, I guess, I don't want to say rank, but how do you select them after they've now come back and joined it?
Well, that's entirely up to the coaching staff.
Okay.
Each game, they look at each game individually. So they have certain needs for certain countries that they're playing. And that's how because we have a pool of about, I'd say, almost 40 players that they can choose from. And then they choose the best 22, depending on the type of opponents we will have.
Let's talk about this.
But I just want to say, sorry, to continue, I just want to say that the investment with the scholarship program is really paying off, because every time these players come back home to represent the country, you can see the development, you can see how they have improved. And so we're really excited about that project.
So, as the umbrella organization for football in the country, let's talk about the state of the sport and perhaps what's going on at various levels within football in Belize. Perhaps you can share.
Okay, so our programs really start at the grassroots levels, which really the age would be, I think, 5. So we start at 5 to 10, so that's our grassroots football, where we just introduce the game and we have kids falling in love with football, keeping them physically engaged, of course, but still doing something positive and meaningful. We then move on to our youth programs, where we have tournaments running countrywide in the U15, U17 category, both male and female. We have the amateur tournament, and we have the Premier Women's League happening right now also. So we target probably every single age, from a child knows how to kick a ball, and we go right up to the amateur and the Premier Leagues.
And then we have the football for schools program too.
We have football for school programs, which is a partnership between the Football Federation of Belize and the Ministry of Education, and we also have Generation Amazing. So football and the FFB, we have a lot going on, but we ensure that in every single program that we do, we are also targeting and involving girls and women in sports.
At all age levels.
What's the buy-in from the communities, from the public? Because as we've been talking about, football is alive and well in Belize. Do we support it as Belizeans? Do we come in? Do we pack that stadium?
I think there's room for more. So the people are definitely supporting. It's definitely in the hearts of Belizeans. But we still want to encourage more Belizeans to come out, to bring out those flags, to go out in their communities when the grassroots activities are happening and support the local tournament, support the local clubs, because one thing that the FFB needs and one thing that all the teams out there need is more support, whether it's more moral support, more financial support. And so we always want more people. There's always room for more, so feel free to reach out if that's something that they want to do, to reach out, to get involved. If it's that they want to give their time as a volunteer to work with a local club in their community, then reach out. Because like I said, at the FFB, we look at the holistic development of the individual, but also we want to continue using sports, specifically football, as that vehicle for change in Belize, to keep our youths, our young men, our young women physically involved, positively engaged.
How do you look at your opponent, perhaps within the ranking of regional football? I'm speaking specifically to the Belize-Nicaragua game that's upcoming. Where does Nicaragua stand, and how formidable an opponent is that particular team when it comes to Belizeans playing against them?
They are a formidable opponent. They are ranked, and I'm not sure what the ranking is right now, but they are ranked a little higher than us. And they actually have players that play in Europe.
Wow.
So we need to really get our fans out for this match.
I mean, yes, Nicaragua is a formidable opponent. I think that the last time Belizeans came out was that Guatemala-Belize game, but that's just because we have bad blood as a nation, right? We want to come out and support. That's the same energy that we want at all the games. So even though Nicaragua is, we don't have beef with Nicaragua like that, for that moment we could pretend.
And then it's not only a match, it's an event.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so we have vendors out there, we have music, so people can come from early, they could have food, they could have drinks.
Yeah, the FFB Stadium is a really nice facility. Is it open for anybody to come in and practice?
So we have a system where we do have the stadium for rental, However, because it's the only certified stadium in the facility, we do try to reserve it specifically for matches. But definitely, if they do want to rent it, they can reach out to the Football Federation of Belize and book a rental.
What is the regimen like for these guys in training, Marlon, in terms of perhaps a day at camp? What do they go through?
Well, they're up right now. They're on a field training that we wanted to bring some of them here today. But they have to train. So they get up in the morning, they train, then they have breakfast, then they have ice baths, rest, lunch, then video sessions, rest, and then back onto the field.
How long have they been preparing for this match?
They've been together since last weekend. But the format has changed. Before, we used to try to get them in camp a month before or so. But now, before you come to camp, you have to be in shape. It's no longer, you're going up against professionals, and we want you to be as professional as possible. So you have to maintain your diet, you have to maintain your physical activities, but when you come to camp, when you're called, you're ready. You know, it's not that you come to camp and we are trying to get you in shape and all. No.
Is this the first regional game for some of these players?
I think we have one player who it's going to be his first official match. But most of them have had that experience. We had earlier this year, we had the Belize versus Puerto Rico game. We had 2 friendly games against them where we won 1 and we drew 1. So a lot of the younger players got that experience and that exposure, that tryout and the test the waters in that match.
And most of these players have been on the youth national teams before. So they're used to the type of regimen that they have to, the training and the traveling and all that. So it's nothing new to them.
This may be perhaps an old observation or criticism that has been brought against Belize's national team. I say that because, as I mentioned earlier, there are new faces, new names, and what have you. But I think one of the observations was that for a while we were using the same players repeatedly for these international matches, and so people were asking, okay, don't we have perhaps a broader talent pool to draw from in terms of representing the Jewel?
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but you call out these players to camp, and the young ones, and I, for the lack of a better word, is entitlement, you know. Not because you're being called to camp. You're a young player, you're scoring goals, you're doing well in the local league, means that you will automatically make the national team. You have to come to camp and earn your spot. And in the past, the veterans, they had a better work ethic. They were more, you know, their whole psyche was different. But now some of the younger players are now starting to adopt it, realizing that, hey, I was on the last call-up, but this time I'm not there. So this is the difference.
I think it's, I think also what Isani, I'm just gonna piggyback off of your question, but that kind of resonates with the fan base as well. I'm not sure if it's something where you have to introduce and reintroduce these players to the Belizean community, because for so long, for example, say Woodrow, they play for, you know, for as long as I've known him, he's played football, and it's great to have a veteran, but we've been saying we need more people, we need more people. You give us more people, and then we say, who that? Right? So how do you introduce them to the Belizean
always
community?
whenever we have a game coming up, we always have a press conference where we introduce the players, we introduce what club they play with, we introduce where they're from, because another cry that we also hear, because I also manage the social media platforms for the federation, so I get all the feedback. So we heard the cry that they wanted younger players, and so that's what we're doing. We're integrating younger players into the national team programs, and we found a way to make it work. But we're also ensuring that, like you mentioned, that people know these players. And so this week we're also going to be doing a series of social media videos with the players to ensure that we do that introduction. And then we also have a press conference plan. We do media rounds. Unfortunately, we did want them to come, but coach said, definitely you're not taking my players. They need to be in training today, which makes sense, definitely. But we ensure that people get to know these new faces. But I also ensure that the players understand the weight that they carry when they're a national team player. I ensure that I have that talk with them and tell them, you know, you're role models. So ensure that you carry yourself as such when you're out there, and we're gonna help you build that brand as an individual, but you also need to do your role and ensure you market yourself also.
I just want to add to that, at times you won't see some of the better, or I shouldn't say better players, but the players that are doing well at the local levels, and some fans might wonder, well, why isn't that person there? Why wasn't he given an opportunity? But the player profile isn't specifically based on how talented you are or how good you are doing on the field. It's off the field as well. Your attitude, your behavior. So at times, some of these players are left off the list.
I'm glad that you mentioned what takes place off field as well, because when we look to our athletes, we're not just looking for what they're capable of doing in terms of their performance on the court, on the field, on the pitch, or wherever. We're also looking to them as model citizens, right? Especially when you're looking at children who admire these guys and these ladies for what they're doing in sports. You also have to set a certain example for them to be able to follow. Let's talk a bit about that with you guys.
Yes, so we have integrated a social media policy, for example, with our national team players, with our staff, with everybody, because we want to ensure, like I said, the Football Federation of Belize really and truly is a brand. And the players are the ones who help make this brand a reality. So we want to ensure that we give them the proper education to be aware of what they're posting, to be aware of how that may or may not affect them or impact them. But also we're doing this year specifically, we're doing much more community outreach activities. So last week we actually went to play bingo with the folks at HelpAge, and so we took some of the guys there. Everybody loved it. They enjoyed it also. So it helped them also, because we had all these people telling them, you know, we have feed off our positive energy because we old people have a lot of that. And it was just a good moment of, you know, they were relaxing, but they were also giving back. We want to do more of that. This week they're going to be going out to some schools also. Last week our school also visited the team at the Football Federation of Belize, and on their own they said, you know what, I think this is a good opportunity to tell them to stay in school and to tell them that they need to listen to their parents, and they came up with that on their own, which was admirable of the guys. But it was nice. It was nice seeing the students ask them for their autographs. They were signing their uniforms, and I'm like, I hope you got your parents' permission, because when I reach home and then the shirt sign up, I don't know. But it was nice, and it's a good opportunity, like you mentioned, for the guys to give back, because they are role models, and they do have so much young boys and girls looking up to them and wanting to follow in their footsteps.
And that's the beauty of sports, right? Yeah. You have a lot of you have a lot to ride on your shoulders when it comes to these kinds of...
A lot to aspire to as well.
Yes, and you have to be able to walk the walk, talk the talk, all the things. But as we are coming down to the wire, we want all Belizeans to come out. This is going to be a big match. It's the first match for the road to the World Cup.
For Belize, yes.
For Belize. And so we want everybody to come out. So kindly tell us when, where, tickets, how they can get it, all of that.
Okay, so the match is kicking off this Saturday night at 6 p.m. right at the Football Federation of Belize in Belmopan, the official home of the Jaguars. So kickoff is at 6 p.m. Gates open at 4. We will have music from 4 to about 10. So it's a Saturday night. We will have drinks. We will have foods on sale. So pre-sold tickets are already on sale. So pre-sold tickets are $20, and it's going to be $25 at the gate. And they can be purchased at the Football Federation of Belize countrywide. At the Football Federation of Belize headquarters office in Belmopan, or at our regional offices countrywide. So we take this opportunity to invite all Belizeans to come out to wear their jerseys. We will also have jerseys and Jaguar t-shirts on sale at the game. But yeah, come out. We want to hear that roar of the Jaguars with all the fans cheering on the Jaguars to victory.
Anything else you guys would want?
As a way to thank, I would like to encourage companies. Some of them do it already, but we would like to see it happening more, whereby companies purchase tickets and raffle them for their staff, among the staff members. Yeah. So I would like to encourage that.
Nice. I don't ever bring tickets for Lido, so I can't help you there. But Yashmi and Marlon, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Belize is going to be playing Nicaragua this Saturday at 6 p.m. Join. I hope I can. Well, yeah, I can make it. I live right there.
You live in Belmopan.
I live in Belmopan. There's no reason why I shouldn't.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on the dot. Get there on time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are going to take our final break, and we'll be back for a wrap up. Don't go away.
Smart thinkers, we're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Hi, my name is Leah Mangar, and I am currently the Administrative Assistant at Yasche Conservation Trust here in beautiful Punta Gorda. I received the Social Security Board Scholarship in the year of 2021. After I was told that I was a successful recipient of this scholarship, I was very grateful. This scholarship has assisted me in various ways. Firstly, it relieved me of financial constraints. So that was the main obstacle that was keeping me back. But receiving this scholarship allowed me to gain the skills and the knowledge that I needed to attain the job that I currently have. I would just encourage you all to apply to the scholarship, and the process is very, very easy. You will find a link and it will direct you to everything that you need in order to submit your application. And once you submit it, pray and just hope for the best, because you just will never know if you can get it.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMall. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money and gas price, because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
The Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, in partnership with the National Adaptation Plan Global Network Secretariat, will be hosting the second Blue Economy Climate Resilience Forum and Fair on June 6th and 7th. This year's theme is Linking Science and Livelihoods towards Climate Resilience for the Coastal Zone and Fisheries Sector of Belize. Come and take part in presentations relating to climate change and national adaptation and mitigation initiatives, the use of scientific knowledge to enhance resilience, and how men and women in our community can positively impact our coastal zone and fisheries sector. On day 1, June 6th, the Blue Economy Forum will provide a platform for NGOs, academia, and private citizens to present your plans, projects, and national initiatives at the Belize Biltmore Plaza from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. On day 2, June 7th, the Blue Economy Fair takes place at the Fisheries Compound on Princess Margaret Drive, where stakeholders such as NGOs, fisherfolk organizations, and MSMEs will showcase their booths. There will also be lots of raffle giveaways. Everyone is invited to the second Blue Economy Climate Resilience Forum and Fair on June 6th and 7th.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are wrapping up our Monday morning show. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and starting your week right here with us on Open Your Eyes. Before we wrap up and go away though, Isane, sometimes we talk a little bit about other issues outside of the What's Buzzing field, outside of having these conversations with our guests. And something that came to my mind while I was walking in actually this morning. I'm driving along, I'm having a grand old time. It's almost 6 in the morning and the vehicle in front of me, the passenger, I guess finish their Coke and just dash out the bottle outside of the window. And for some, that just puts a little bit of an irritation in me for the morning. I said, man, my morning was going so well, and now here I am looking at this person. And I know that it sounds like something very simple to get upset about, but Belize, for some reason, we have this garbage pollution culture.
So here it is, right? It's not a mundane or trivial concern. It's a very legitimate one, right? And it speaks to the idea of civic pride and inculcating civic pride in the minds of all Belizeans, young, middle-aged, old, right? It has to start somewhere.
Agreed.
I think one of my pet peeves, and I share the same concern and issue, is people who don't take pride in their surroundings. So for instance, right, if you're at home and your bedroom is a mess, or your living room is a mess, your yard is a mess, then you can't expect that person to be cleanly in the classroom setting or in the professional setting or elsewhere. So it has to start somewhere. How do we start teaching younger people, or how do we begin to shape a different culture, a mindset, if we're engaged in some of the same practices? I think one of the cliches that really bother me, right, use a different description, but I'll be gentle, is people who say, oh, well, if you don't toss the garbage out, the garbage collector doesn't have a job. And so in their minds, that's the justification for littering, right? But you're perfectly right. There is this problem of garbage pollution and the fact that people don't take enough pride in trying to keep the place as clean as possible. If you look at Belize as a tourism destination, April, we're supposed to be as pristine as possible so that it's inviting to persons who want to visit.
We campaign on ecotourism, which is very ironic to me that as Belizeans we have this pride in our tourism, but still we have this mentality of throwing out the garbage out and tossing it.
And it's even worse when you're looking at garbage pollution along the highways.
Oh,
and I know MIDH has had to set aside monies to do the cleaning of the highways, at least from the Belize City Point to the George Price at Belma Pan.
Yes.
Maybe further than that. But I know that work has been done to try to clean up and beautify the area. But people just throw litter out of the window like second nature, right? Like you mentioned, the person finished the Coke and just
toss it out.
Don't even think about, okay, I'm adding to the problem.
And I'm trying to figure out solutions because it's not like there aren't education campaigns out there. We hear it all over. You know, there is a particular part, I think, in the curriculum for civic pride. So there are all of these different measures that are being taken. But for us as Belizeans, I don't know why, but for us it doesn't stick. And the reason why I say it doesn't stick here, because when we go overseas, not just in Mexico, but when we go anywhere else, we adhere to the laws and the regulations of the country. You don't litter, you are fined $1,000 if you litter, and so we take that seriously. And mind you, we have those same measures here in Belize as well.
I think, and I hope I'm not, going too far with sharing this openly. I think part of the mindset or the culture is that, oh, that Belize with it. And it lends to a sort of like a second-class citizenship, so to speak, where when we're in the States or we're in Mexico or other countries, now we feel like, wow, we're a foreign, right? So now we have to abide by foreign laws, right? But as you mentioned, the same exact set of laws that govern who we are as a Belizean people. So if you could do it right across the northern border, why can't you do it in your own backyard, so to speak?
It's strange that you say it like we treat ourselves as second-class citizens in our own country, because at the end of the day, it kind of tells you what you think about your home.
Yeah.
And if you can openly market your home for other people to come and see it, but you're not treating your home with that same love and respect that you expect other people to come in, then you're, I don't know, it's almost like an oxymoron, really, in that aspect. So I mean, these are our thoughts and concerns from our hosts early in the morning, and sometimes it's good to have these discussions openly with us, you, Isani, and of course our viewers, because how are we supposed to tackle these issues if we don't openly talk about it? I see the signs and the campaigns and so on. And it's funny that there's a sign right in Belmopan by the hospital that's basically telling you to stop littering, stop this garbage pollution. And there's garbage right around the sign.
Well, that's the supreme irony, right? That's the oxymoron that you refer to as well, right? Usually when there's a sign somewhere that says, don't litter, $500 fine or a penalty or whatever, that's exactly where people decide to throw their dirt.
Is it just because we're petty? What is it? Please tell us what this issue is. I need to, for my own sanity, I need to understand. But you also can do better. I know you can do better. And so we hope that this topic today resonates with you. I hope that you think about it before you toss out that garbage out the window. Nothing will hurt you for put it in your pocket or put it in a garbage bin afterwards. But thank you so much for indulging me this morning.
No problem at all. It's a worthwhile conversation.
These are some thoughts and concerns from us, and thank you so much to you, the viewers, for sticking with us as we end our Monday morning show here on Open Your Eyes. We also want to say a big thank you to our guests for coming in. It was all about sports today, so thank you so much to the Minister of Youth, Sports and Transport, as well as the representatives from the National Sports Council and the representatives from the Football Federation of Belize. And thank you to our viewers for joining us, because without you, this would not be possible. It is June 3rd. It is the first Monday in June. If it is your birthday today, we want to say a happy, happy birthday to you. We hope you have a wonderful day. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or concern, you can drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our live on Facebook every day on Open Your Eyes BZ. And you can check out our highlights on Instagram at oye_Belize. And of course, do us the favor and join us again tomorrow morning when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
your hearts open.
We'll see you soon, Belize. Have a wonderful day. Today, there is another heat alert out. So please do stay hydrated, stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.